Hey, moron! Hey, moron! Duh! Look at me! I'm the waterboard, dude!
You're muted.
What's up, good people? Mark Holmes here, and as always, I want to say thank you all for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the Joe Boo Sports Report. Without you guys, as well as you ladies, you know that this literally does not work. I'm sitting here with the gangster lean because I've just been knocked around here, and I had to talk to my man, Game Time Brian. Game Time, how you doing, bro?
I've been better, man. I've been better. Everybody is... I'm getting texts. I mean, half the people are happy, half the people are sad. But what this organization is doing, and just because we disagree, people, doesn't mean people have to be indignant. It's ridiculous what's going on.
Night 3, how am I doing?
What's up,
I'm
Night 3?
kind of shocked at this moment. Okay, so in case you've been on another planet, mutually agreed that there is a contract situation with Dak that basically they're just kind of saying we're locked and loaded, as Jerry Jones said, for the season, and we're not worried about a contract.
Apparently not.
So what we're basically doing is now. Let me ask your opinion here, Game Time.
What's up, Night 3? What up,
Game
man?
Time? You've been shooting up the charts. What are you up to right now?
I don't know, actually. I'm almost at like 4,500 is where I'm at, somewhere in there.
Sean Paul, I'm good. I don't need a hug. If I need a hug, I'll go to my wife. But I appreciate it, bro. Okay, appreciate it. Shout out to the 4,500 people subscribed.
Around 4,500.
Everybody, make sure you hit my man right there. Today is one of those days that I am questioning my fanhood of the Dallas Cowboys. And the reason is not because of them saying Dak Prescott should go. That's not why I'm questioning it. My questioning it is how often do you have teams that go 3 years with 12 wins? I mean, seriously.
I'm sorry. I got to get to this. Don Gordon says, you know what Jerry's going to do. He's going to wait right before the season starts and sign him.
Isn't that what I said too?
Yeah, he just said that. Yeah, I'm tired of hearing last year was all in. If that's their version of all in, they don't know what the F they're doing.
Wait a minute. You mean, hold on. Wait. So trading 2 5th-round draft picks is all in?
That's what I mean. Here's the deal,
Is that
people.
literally it?
Let me just fast forward here, okay? Because what we're doing here is clearing the decks. Now, we do have enough talent to make the playoffs, believe it or not. But I don't know that I want them to make the playoffs if this is what they're going to do. It started out, Mark, where, okay, we're letting lame duck coach. You seem to be a little more okay with it than I was. I was like, get rid of them then. But they're so friggin' cheap that they don't want to. It's all about the money, Mark.
It really is.
Well, right now, it's literally about the money.
Here's the thing that, okay, it makes no sense whatsoever to bring Dak back for the season. Because Dak is going to, whether you believe in Dak or Trey Lance, Dak is going to win you games that Trey Lance won't. And if you're looking to blow it all up for next year, then you want to make sure that you implode this year to be down as low as possible in the draft, so you can get that high draft pick and have as much money and stuff as possible. So regardless, you got $90 million you got to pay to Dak. You might as well go ahead and see if you could try and trade him and get him to waive his no trade clause before the season, and see if you can get something for him. If not, at least there is good news. You will get a 3rd-round comp pick.
But I was just getting ready to get to that, and you segued perfectly. You'll get a 3rd-round comp pick unless you go out and sign somebody for in free agency.
You're not going to sign anybody at $65 million that Dak Prescott's going to get next year.
I know what you're saying, but that's like what I'm telling you is we know that. So you're going to lose him, and you're not going to replace him. Okay.
Well, you know, wait a minute.
About anybody
Cowboy
that's not
fans
currently-
already figure that Trey Lance is already the guy.
No, and now we're hearing Shador Sanders is the guy. We don't
Well,
even know
that
where the
was-
hell he's going to be drafted. We don't even know anything. Now, do I love Shador Sanders? Sure, I do. But again, you think we're going to be the only team that's going to be interested in Shador Sanders? And how much is that going to cost?
Well, for the first 4 years, it won't cost you much because
No, I mean, to get up to, to get him.
Oh,
Because
well,
we're going to be just
again,
good
okay.
enough.
If that's the plan, then you need to go ahead and just say, Dak,
That's
we're going
what
to
I'm
bench you.
saying.
You don't just implode the season.
That's what I'm saying. Unload the season. And now he has a no trade clause. So this is where Dallas screws himself, Mark, because Dak is betting on himself again, and he's going to win. Whether
He
it
always
means a Super
does.
Bowl, we all know it ain't going to mean a Super Bowl with what they're doing with the surrounding pieces. So you just said it. So Dak is going to play good, okay, in the regular season. He always does, like when he has two legs underneath him. So we're going to be in the
Shout out
20s
to
again.
Bob.
That's what's going to happen.
Right.
We're going to get to the playoffs and shit the bed, and we'll be in the 20s. We can't get to the top of the draft. All those fifth-round comp picks ain't going to do shit. They
Oh,
ain't
but the
gonna do
Cowboys
anything.
believe they will. Bobby Beninsky says, how is it the most valuable franchise has no money?
They got money. They just don't want to. They want to do what they want to do, Bobby. But I'll let Mark answer that.
You know what? At this point, I said this before earlier in the season that Dak Prescott should go to them and say, listen, if you're not going to do anything to help me get a ring, that's fine. Don't. I'm going to take my money that's on my
Let's go on,
contract
like 3.
that we signed, and I'm leaving up out of here. And you haven't seen them do anything, other than them, we got Mike McCarthy, who's the lame duck, saying, well, we feel we're going to be better because of the players that we have that are coming back. That's your whole offseason move. Well, we got players coming back, so we're going to be better. Now,
Again.
the sad part is they have a good core of people. And my point being is, how often do you have a team that's 12-win season 3 years in a row? You don't. That should be the time you say, you know what, we're really, really close, because if I have it right, I think the Cowboys have had, since the 90s, I want to say 6 12-plus win seasons. 4 of them were with Dak, and 3 of them are the last 3 years. Just think about that for a second. And we're literally saying to the quarterback, you got to prove it again, like you had to year 4.
Yeah.
Like you had to then year 5 as a, with the franchise tag.
Listen, I could be fine. I could be fine with Dak not being a Cowboy. What I can't be fine with is this shroud of secrecy. Just blow it up now. Do your organization a favor. Trade him to somebody, and they'll work out a deal. I mean,
Okay, Dom Smith says, stop
What's up,
being
Matt?
a fan of players. I'm a fan of a team and
Me
the
too,
success of this team. Dak is 2-5 in 8 years. And let me ask you, Dom. Okay, Dom, what were they the other 22 years? What were they the other 22 years, bro? I believe 2 wins the other 22 years. So it's not like Dak has been the whole 30 years, bro. This is at least the best. Because, see, I remember the Cowboys being 5-11 3 years in a row. Do you remember that?
yeah, absolutely.
I remember 8-8 and losing to the Giants, to the Commanders, that were then the Washington
Exactly,
Redskins,
like 3.
and the Eagles. And had we won any of those games, we would have been in the playoffs any one of those years. We sucked then. This is the best quarterback play you've had consistently since Troy Aikman. And we just say, no problem. We can just find another quarterback. Because I'm sure they didn't really try before. right? They didn't really try before. But now, Jerry and Stephen Jones, as Jerry put it, I screwed the pooch on that Zeke Elliott contract. But see,
But
because I screwed it up.
Again, but you've done it literally multiple times since then.
Yeah.
What's up, Thomas? How are you, buddy? Dak need to go on and get his bag and get the hell out of here. The Joneses are trying to run the game. Yeah, I hear you, man.
Don Smith says, what's the difference now? 12-5 and losing the second round twice? I'll take that over 5-11. Or am I wrong? Game time.
Quincy Carter, Chad Hutchinson. Just like a fun stat here. I was looking after.
Oh, Lordy. Look at this. Tymer Jones says, Dak fanboys think Trey Lance won't save Dallas. Y'all dumb.
Well, if you could, listen.
It's
I'm
possible.
Not a fanboy,
Anything's possible. But I'm not expecting it.
I mean, I'm obviously hope nothing for the best for Trey Lance. I'm a Cowboy fan. I'm just saying how Dallas does business is ass backwards. Let me get to the chat room. 808 Cowboy, what up, man? Sorry, this was an impromptu.
Yeah, we just
so.
I've been on the road all day. I drove about 300 miles and stuff, and things just got back home about an hour ago.
808 Cowboy says, "What if Dak is asking for too much? Ever think of that?"
Well, if you're Dak Prescott? Okay, why wouldn't you want to try and get as much as you can? It's not like everybody is showing him that they love him. And what is too much? The salary cap went up $30 million.
Yeah.
And see, here's the thing. And this is why, if you're Dak Prescott, think about this. If you go ahead and say, you know what, I'm going to give the Cowboys a break, and I'm going to sign a deal for $45 million. Right? And then next year, let's say the contracts are at $65, $70 million. And then the next year, about $80, $85 million. And you're stuck on a contract because you gave him a long-term one because you're trying to give him a break. And now everybody's getting like $25, $30 million more than you doing the same job because you've been there. You were there.
This is all I worry about, people. Okay, this is what I worry about. What you have in one hand, right? You know what you have in Dak, a hell of a regular season quarterback that has won 2 playoff games. I know he's been there 8 years. I get it. And I'm not saying he's the best thing since sliced bread. But the other hand, you don't know what you got. You know what I'm saying? You don't know what you got. So my question is to you, Mark. Okay, so we roll out the season. We win games. We don't go nowhere in the playoffs. So we're in the 20s next year, right? Dak goes. There you go. Get to your super chat.
JD Sports Talk. Shocked, Mark. Scheffner says New York will be on Dak. Oh, yeah. New York, Washington. A lot of trust me. It won't be a problem for Dak to get a job.
He'll be in the concrete jungle where dreams are made of. But, yeah, so what makes you think that if we somehow, Trey Lance turns it around, or if we get Shador Sanders, Deion Sanders' kid, mind you, what do you think? Do you think we're going to put talent around him that they didn't do for Dak Prescott? They were taking it away once he got his deal. Once he signed that first mega deal, Dak Prescott, they were like, oh, well, you don't need this. You don't need that. You're the big money guy.
Yep.
So what are they going to do for a young guy? Are they going to all of a sudden change their philosophy? No, they're still going to draft, re-sign their own. All I'm saying, people, is I'd like to have Dak and Trey. I mean, I guess we'll have it for 1 year. That's all. I mean,
maybe for 1 year. It might not be for that.
They should have figured this out before this year and moved on. If that's what they knew they were going to do, they should have done it.
Shout out to Azteca Aguilar. Haven't seen you in a while. Lamar Jackson has 2 playoff wins, yet casuals and NFL media treat him like he is the end-all, be-all of quarterbacks. I didn't actually make it live because the news came through while I was on the road. But I was listening to Colin Cowherd, and he had, what's his name, the Kansas City fan that was on there. And he was actually lighting up about Buffalo because he's like, Buffalo, or, first Colin Cowherd, Buffalo's a really good team. They win a bunch of games and do this, that, and the other. And I'm kind of like, with the exception of 2020 when they made it to the AFC Championship game, every year they've actually gotten worse in the playoffs. And I'm kind of like, the difference between the Cowboys and them is going one game deeper. And we all talk about how great Josh Allen and Buffalo is. And I'm kind of like, are you sure about that? And we have the Cowboys with Dak. Oh, Dak sucks. Dak sucks. And I'm just sitting here like, Walker Wade, shout out to Walker Wade. Walker, it looks like we're in purgatory time to look for a quarterback. Yeah, well, it sounds like.
What does that mean, though? I mean, what are you getting at?
That's what, Walker Wade?
But what does he mean? We are entering purgatory time to look for a QB.
Well, I don't think there's necessarily a lot of great ones out there. And look at how many misses there are right now.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Right now, you've got C.J. Stroud, who had a great rookie year.
Where?
And between him and who was, Cincinnati's quarterback. Between those two guys, look at how many failures there have been. There haven't been. I mean, the only one you could say.
New York, and we'll get Danny Dimes.
Oh God! But no, think about that though. Why can't I think of his name from Cincinnati? After Joe Burrow.
Yeah, Joe Burrow.
After Joe Burrow, until you get to C.J. Stroud, there's a lot of bad quarterbacks that were drafted, in the top 10.
Most quarterbacks don't work out.
Yeah. And that's where it's kind of hard. I'm just sitting there thinking about.
I love Shador Sanders. So if you could guarantee me that, then okay.
Well, the only way you're going to get there is you're going to need to either tank, or you're going to have to take CeeDee Lamb or Micah Parsons and trade them.
He's 6'2". He's a big boy. He's not as thick as Dak was, but
6'2". That's a little short for a quarterback, though. They like him
Dak's
usually about 6'4". Yeah. Okay.
Dak's a 6'2", 240. He's 6'2", 215. Whatever. It's just, and I don't care if we move on from Dak, but it seemed like we don't have a plan. We're doing it for the wrong reasons. That's all I'm saying. The plan isn't Trey Lance, because if it is, people, 49er fans.
Okay, Peter. So hold on. Wait. Peter up here saying they're not close, Mark. Just watch the games. Being close would be you know what? Had we gone out and tried to make a move for Derrick Henry to get a running game going into playoffs, and had we looked and said, let's get a linebacker who's actually a linebacker, not 215 pounds, and maybe a defensive lineman. If the Cowboys had gotten a stud defensive lineman and got a good linebacker who is actually a linebacker and a running back, that team could have done some damage. We couldn't stop the run, and we couldn't run the football. Mark is literally just a dollar store Skip Bayless, red-faced bleed hoe. Okay, well, he has been on the air for 30-some years and gotten paid a whole lot of money, so I guess there's worse people I could be compared to.
Oh, you? You.
Is literally a dollar store Skip Bayless.
What's up? Well, welcome to the show.
Oh, look, I'm not crying. I'm more pissed than anything. This is what I love. See, people love Cowboys misery.
Yeah.
Cry. Look, you got the crying emojis and everything else. Yeah, I'm kind of pissed off because it seems like, how do you go from, but how do you go from we're all in to, more with less to, we don't have money to pay Tyron Smith's incentives. And, we've got a franchise quarterback, and we're just going to let it ride at $55 million. It's like none of this stuff makes any sense. I literally, here, let me share this with you. I'm driving down the road, and Philly 500 starts texting me while I'm doing this. He sends me the whole thing that the Cowboys and Dak have mutually agreed, right? And he's in question, is this true? Maybe Dan is right. Dude, if Dak is hitting free agency, bro, he's gone. I think you guys trade him draft night. And I said, there's no trade clause. And I said, they are really fucked up. He can waive it. What I'm saying is if you're Dak, you have 1 foot out the door. And if I was Dak agent, I would make sure I hit free agency. Dude, Dan Saleo might be right. I'm really shocked. You must be pissed. Imagine if they trade him to Washington, you'll be singing Hail to the Commanders.
Yeah.
Man, it's crazy to think it's probably his last year in
in.
Dallas, and they're still giving him nothing. In terms
Eagles
of
fans
talent,
don't like him because he shits on the Eagles, but whatever. He keeps it real.
in terms of talent, you would think they would be going all out. Jerry obviously blames Dak.
Yep. Shout out to JD Sports Talk. Thanks, my man, for the super chat. Do you think the uncertainty of Mike McCarthy has a role in all of this? Lame duck coach. They hired Zimmer, older coach, 1 year. Quinn leaves. Mark, what do you think about that? Do you think the uncertainty of Mike McCarthy has a role in this question?
Well, let me actually answer. Moses or something. Forgive me.
Osmosis.
Is that osmosis? Okay. He says, Mark, the Cowboys can franchise tag him for far less if they want to keep him. He's got a no tag clause in his contract. Can't tag him.
Yeah, it's osmosis.
Okay,
Yes.
osmosis. Okay. Dallas doesn't believe in Dak. Just face the facts. East side. That sounds that way. It doesn't sound like they believe in anybody because they pretty much let Tyron Smith go. They let Zeke go. They let Tony Pollard go. So why do we expect them to keep Dak then as well? Or
You got to answer JD Sports Talk's super chat. Do you think that the uncertainty of Mike Zimmer has a role in this? Lame duck coach. They hired Zimmer, older coach, 1 year. Quinn leaves.
Yeah, I said this before. Shout out to you, JD Sports.
Thanks, buddy.
The thing that's crazy is I kind of said, if I'm Dak, looking at what's going on and knowing that, I'm in my 30s, I only have so many years left, I want to get a ring. You know what I'm saying? Everybody knows who Dak Prescott is. He's made money. He's got, his daughter and everything now. He's had a traumatic injury that, lets you know at any point your career can be up. And at this point, if I'm going to sign a deal, this may be the last deal I sign.
It is.
Do I want to lock myself with the Cowboys doing what they're doing where literally I'm the scapegoat?
He probably wants to be a Cowboy, Mark.
And win a Super Bowl.
We've heard it time and time again. But he's got agents, and his agents, their responsibility is to look out for their star quarterback. Let me just tell you, people, even the Dak haters, I don't care if you don't like Dak, but let me tell you, the quarterbacks like Dak Prescott are not supposed to hit the market. Because when they do, he's in a perfect position. I understand he wants to be a Cowboy, but then he's looking over here saying, oh, my God, I got the lottery sitting on the other side here. He can name his price next year if he has anywhere close of a year that he had this year. He's bet on himself every year, every time, and won. So everybody who thinks that he's not going to win this year, we're going to make the playoffs. We're going to be good. We may even win a playoff game. Maybe.
Now, some people are saying that maybe Dak Prescott waives his no trade clause. Well,
why would
here's what I would look at it is, okay.
He knows he's got talent where he's at now. He knows his system.
Right.
He had the number one, or he was lighting it up last year.
Most touchdown passes of anybody.
Numbers?
36 and 9.
Touchdowns, 9 INTs. You can shit on him all you want, and I'm not here telling you Dak's the future, but who is? You're telling me Trey Lance, who has
here's the only way getting rid of Dak works. Okay? Because everybody's got this in their mind that, oh, man, Trey Lance is going to be the guy. Trey Lance is going to be the guy. Dak needs to get out of the way. First of all, you need Trey Lance to be as good as Dak Prescott. That's thing number one, right? Thing number two is you then need the Joneses to take the money from Dak Prescott and actually use it to put a team around him. Yeah, because the chances of Trey Lance
wins is Lamar Jackson and Jalen Hurts. I don't understand.
The chances of Trey Lance playing better than Dak Prescott, sorry. As much as you guys think that just happens.
He could end up, like Jalen did. Now, Jalen got it. Listen,
They went out and they got players
Yeah,
around
that's
them. They
what I'm
had a
saying.
great offensive line.
They had everything in place for Jalen to have
Come
a
on.
run. Then they got a good matchup where you're posting the Giants at home, and then you played the Niners, which you know, to their credit, they ended up playing a third string quarterback, and then you lost in the Super Bowl.
Okay.
But you know,
Jalen
again,
Hurts ran a lot, but what did he have the year before? 22 TD passes?
yeah, it's
Was he
22.
asked to do as much as Dak Prescott was?
No.
Okay. Did he have an elite offensive line?
Yes.
Did he have an elite tight end?
Yes.
Did he have 2 good wide receivers?
Yes.
Did he have a really good running game?
Yes.
What does Dak have?
He has a.
We had
arguably
Jason
the best
Peters
receiver in
playing the
league.
same. He's got that. And an up and
That's
coming
all.
tight
I'm
end.
just saying. I'm not going to sit there. All I'm saying, people, is beware what you wish for. We don't know what Dak's asking for. That's the thing. We don't know what he's asking for.
And we're talking about people that said that the $6 million deal that Tyron Smith got, well, we couldn't afford to pay the incentives.
Well, I think it was a total of 20 if he hit every.
Including winning the Super Bowl.
If he played every game and, yeah, it wasn't.
And he was all pro and they won the Super Bowl. Okay. That's what we're worried about? Okay.
Now, Tayana says no one thought Dak was going to compete for Romo's Cowboys record either, to be honest. Tayana, after 6 years, the record between Romo and Dak, they're both 1-3 after 6 seasons as Cowboys quarterbacks in the playoffs. So, and I'm getting texts by certain people saying that they didn't like Romo either. I thought Jerry loved Romo, but proof's in the pudding. They replaced his ass.
Well, I tell you what, all you people that say that Dak sucks, I want you to remember when the Cowboys become the Jets or the Commanders looking for a quarterback and we suck and we're not even sniffing the playoffs, I want you all to come back and say, you know what, Mark? You were right about Dak Prescott. I want y'all to at least man up and say, we were wrong. It's not Dak Prescott. It's the Joneses and this damn penny pitching and not putting people on the field. I don't know how you can look around and say they've literally let all these people go. They're not bringing in any primo players. They're literally saying we're going to rely on the draft when we got nothing out of last year's draft class. And they're going to still turn around and say, it's because of the quarterback. If we just go out and get another quarterback, we'll be fine. Or better yet, we'll just play Trey Lance, who's got 103 passes in his NFL career, and we're going to go to the Super Bowl. Good luck with that, Trey.
This is all I would say with the people in the chat, and I'm going to get to you guys in a second. But as me, I would just rather get rid of Dak now and just play Trey Lance this year. I'm not trying to be mean towards Dak, but if this is where we're at, I'm not looking forward to the season with Dak in this position. I'm just not.
Well,
who is?
Here's what I would say about Dak is
lame duck coach.
I tell you what,
lame duck quarterback. I don't.
I tell you what. If it ends up being that Dak plays this year without the new contract, expect him to light it up.
And expect him to, if he's a little banged up, to not play.
True on that one too.
This is why you go down the road you shouldn't go. But let me get to this real quick, and then you can get to your chat. Jermaine, you guys forget about the run. Yeah, you're right. You are exactly right. David Cowboy, how do we not sign Hankins for $1.5 million? Why? The only thing I can think of is Zimmer didn't want him. Zimmer didn't want his ass.
Well, we're going to the 4-3. Maybe he's looking at different personnel altogether.
Hold up. We did have a 4-3, didn't we? Are you sure it's not a 3-4 we're going to?
I'm sorry, 4-3.
No, you said 4-3. We've been playing a 4-3.
Did I? I mean 3-4. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm best
backwards. 3-4 or a 4-3?
We're going to 3-4. Sorry.
Okay, I thought you were right. All right, you got a super chat over there, big guy.
In 2021, Dak had Zeke, Pollard, Amari, CD, Schultz. Wilson was very good defense. And a number one, it caused turnovers, and we lost in the first round. Retro Nation, I'm not going to dispute that we had Zeke, but do you know how many yards Zeke had in that playoff game against San Francisco? He averaged 2.6 yards and had 24 yards. 24 yards from your bellwether back. Just saying. And the next year when we had San Francisco again, once Tony Pollard went out, the only weapon we had on that team was CeeDee Lamb. I don't know how you're expecting to beat San Francisco's defense with just CeeDee Lamb. Sorry. And, I know you want to say that Zeke was great, And also, I want you to remember
Zeke,
do you remember what used to
Brad?
happen with Amari at the end of the seasons, at big games and on the road? You remember how he used to check out like CD did?
Yeah.
When it came to playoff time, CD disappeared. I'm just saying, but but that's fine. Blame Dak when all hell breaks loose and we find out that Trey Lance isn't the guy. And we are now in quarterback paternity.
From the outside looking in, you're sounding, and I'm not saying you're right or wrong, but you're sounding like you automatically assume Trey's not the guy. I'm not even going there. I love Trey Lance and what he can possibly be, but I don't see where that has anything to do with Dak Prescott. I mean, Trey Lance needs to worry about his footwork, his mechanics. He's throwing, I'm hearing now, we've been hearing for 2 weeks, he's throwing lasers at the star to wide receivers on air. You know what I mean?
And I heard that Brandon Whedon throws the prettiest pass you'd ever see. Yeah, that Brandon Whedon. Man. And I used to hear that, there's no drop off from Andy Dalton to Dak Prescott.
Mm.
You know that? And I remember when Tony Romo got hurt in 2015.
I will say.
And how we had a good team around him that the team literally went down the toilet.
808 Cowboy, I did pin your thing. He says, Trey didn't get a fair shot yet. Let's not act like we know what Trey Lance will become.
Okay, I'm just thinking because, see, most teams that spend 3 first-round picks will do everything they can to make sure he succeeds because then they don't look like they're idiots. That Washington did that with RG3, right?
Yeah.
They did that with RG3 because they're like, we don't want to say we were idiots to draft that guy. San Francisco said, you know what? We'll take the bullets for this.
Yeah.
This is not – look, we gave up 3 number ones and a second, I think, to get him. And we're okay looking like fools letting him go. And that was before that they knew what they had with Brock Purdy.
Dominic Denaro says Dak to the Rams. Vegas already has odds. The Rams are the leading team. So Dak
could you
to the
see
Rams.
Dak with Sean
Dak
McVay
under Sean McVay?
Oh,
that would be fun to watch because then we would know if it's the coaching or if it's that would be interesting. Book it. There we go. Book it.
Well, we'll see. It looks like everybody's on the Trey Lance bandwagon.
We don't know he's trash.
Trey Lance is only 23 years old, plus his arm strength is off the charts.
There we go.
Mark wishes he had Purdy. Okay.
Don Gordon, I think Jerry is just playing hardball with Dak. Dak,
but you know what's funny about Jerry? Wait. You know what's funny about Jerry Jones playing hardball with people?
Team-friendly deal.
It seems like they always lose. Let me see if I can find it.
What's up, King Crazen? I know Dallas isn't great, but they would never blow a 1 or 2 seed to their rival after going 10-1. Who did that, King? If Dak leaves, the Cowboys will be a 4-win team max. We the ones.
After the game,
do it, Jerry. Then do it this year. You got a super chat, Mark.
Okay, I want to play this. Shout out to We the Ones. If Dak leaves, the Cowboys will be a 4-win team max. I'm more towards your way of thinking. We the Ones, especially knowing that Mike McCarthy is on a 1-year deal, Mike Zimmer's on a 1-year deal. You're not bringing any other talent. The morale of the team, I guarantee you, will be like, oh shit. Because if you're C.D. Lamb, if you're Micah Parsons, you say they'll do that to that guy. What will they do with me? Remember Jerry Jones here after Tony Pollard in the preseason game?
Pollard your best negotiator with Zeke?
Who?
Pollard.
Zeke who?
Zeke who?
He's got you on camera.
Zeke who? You remember that? That's the way. This is the way they treat people in Dallas. This is what you do to your stars. Don't nobody else in the NFL do this stuff. I haven't heard this much disrespect even for Deshaun Watson after Cleveland spent a boatload of money and's got absolutely nothing. You know what I'm saying?
What's up, AJ Mendel?
No matter what quarterback we have, the Cowboys need to build a team. That is the real thing lost on there. Not expect the quarterback to carry them. There you go. 100% real there. Shout out to AJ.
This is my problem. Trexler historical art. That's my exact issue with the whole thing. At least if you're a 4-win team, you could draft a QB. You're not winning now, so what's the difference? That's what I'm saying. If my organization knows they're definitely moving on from him, all indications are they're talking out both sides of the neck. But if they truly are moving on, then cut him. Let him go. You're not. Mark, it ain't like how they're doing it. It ain't like they're saving a lot of money. They're doing everything. If you look at a book out of how not to treat a franchise quarterback and
the Cowboys
salary structure, they're doing everything wrong. Walker Way, what up, man? Mark, that cost us the playoff game. I'm 22. He has underperformed when it matters in playoffs. It's a tough one, man. Without Dak, we will win. And
without Dak, we're not even in the playoffs.
At I think max 5 games, Brad Harris. Brad,
let's be clear here. Without Dak Prescott, you're not making the playoffs.
But if we're moving on, then that's what I want. Okay? That's what I want.
Yeah, there you go. AJ, shout out to AJ. You think the Cowboys are good at finding quarterback? Remember, Jerry wanted Paxton Lynch and Connor Cook and Johnny Manziel.
Yeah.
They lucked into Romo because we had Sean Payton. Dak Prescott was just like the last guy left on there. They said, well, we need a camp body.
Round 3, everybody in the room was saying, well, Dak Prescott's on the board. And they did everything they could. They were looking at other players. I don't even know who they took round 3. But then when it came around in round 4, they were like, we can't pass on this guy again. This is like everything. So ever since the day he was drafted, they never really wanted him. And I say that because they never were upfront with him giving him contracts. He had to play
every time
the numbers. He had to play
$680,000 for the first 3 years,
$680, and
$2 million for the fourth. And
yeah.
you could have said, you know what, you've done a pretty good job for 3 years. Let's go ahead and get you a contract. And you still made him play on the franchise tag.
But okay,
they took Malik Collins.
As a rookie.
Okay, so they took Malik Collins in the 3rd, and then Charles Tapper, defensive end, before Dak in the 4th.
Down south.
Okay.
A Cowboy. A QB gets paid for regular season. That was a super chat on your side.
QB gets paid for regular seasons. There you go. Okay. Down south.
Went 4-1 with Cooper Rush. I know, Twiz. I know.
Oh, here we go. Yeah. And you think, okay. Then again, just cut Dak right now. That's my thing. Cut Dak. Let Skip Bayless have his way. Cooper Rush is the guy, and we got Trey Lance backing him up, and let's go. Let's go.
You have to take one step back to make a leap forward. Trexler, here's my thing. Again, I'm going to repeat it. If they know in the star that they're not bringing him back and he's hitting free agency next year, then why would just play Trey Lance? That way you know what you have going into the shit show, next year. Just start Trey Lance then. You can have Dak. Keep Dak then. He ain't gonna be able to improve his market, but he'll stay healthy. Start Trey Lance.
Now, just coming across my screen here from DallasNews.com, Zeke and Dalvin Cook are options at the Cowboys for running back. So, again, we're just looking
Zeke.
for, Zeke was not good last year. Hasn't been for a couple of years.
JT, the pipe layer. Pause. Dak should ask for a trade. Man, what up, my man?
Well,
I need a couple.
to be honest with you,
stat.
To be honest with you, that would be the best thing for all parties at this point. If you're not going to
Rob.
If you are not going to sign him, that would be best for both parties to get him out of here before the season goes, because it's basically going to be, where we basically treat him like DeMarco Murray, run him in the ground. But if I'm Dak, I don't know if I want my new team to have to give up, a couple of number ones for me. Well, I'd rather pick my team as a free agent so it doesn't hurt them.
And I want to get to this. Your brother Rob says, according to Mark, the playoffs y'all made is because of Dak, but with all the fails and losses, it was the whole team.
Well, here's what I saw. I saw in 2020 Andy Dalton, who was considered not a bench warmer. He was a starter for many years, that they literally said there is no drop off. Couldn't get it done. That same team, without the Cowboys getting any free agents, let's be clear here. After the 2020 season, where we had Andy Dalton, we had who else played in there? Ben DiNucci and who else played that season? We had 3 quarterbacks that played there.
I don't know.
But regardless, that team right there that won 6 games, the next year, Dak Prescott, they win 12. And let's be clear. Let's be clear. They didn't do anything to change the team and make it better. They didn't do anything to make the team better other than Dak Prescott being there. 6 wins to 12 wins. Andy Dalton, Ben DiNucci, and whoever else it was that started for them. Okay?
Yeah.
That's a real world situation here. Now, you're expecting – now, I don't know how good Trey Lance is going to be. All I know is Trey Lance has got 4 games total in his career. There will be a learning curve, especially with the lack of extra talent around them. You can't look and say Trey Lance is going to lead this team to 12 wins next year. Not with that as currently constructed.
Well, again, 808 Cowboy, they can ask Dak if he would waive his trade clause. If another team wants to give him $60+ million, he might do it. And I'm going to say it again. My organization that I love, I spend a lot of money on, I put a lot of time and effort, as we all do, because we're all here talking about it, whether you or, we all love our teams. If we're not in it to win it this year, meaning if we're not going to bring him back, fine, then play Trey Lance now.
There you go. That's all I'm saying.
We need to know what this guy is. I keep hearing Shador Sanders. Nothing makes sense, because if you want Shador Sanders, then you have to be a 4 or 5 win team.
Right.
With Dak Prescott, you guys can say whatever you want. We're going to win 9-10 games. I don't care who's on. With our offense, we're going to win 9-10 games at the very least. Mm-hmm. So what are we talking about? Are you like Shador Sanders people? I like the kid. I don't know. Go ahead. Get to your super chats.
You remember when they used to say tank for Tua? Oh, man, let's tank for Tua, right? Right now, Miami is on the precipice.
Fine. Then start Trey.
Okay, let's see. When was the last time we had 3 12-5-win seasons? Back in the 90s? Alan Williams.
What do you think?
Garrett Gilbert. Yeah, that's it. Garrett Gilbert was. Thank you, Alan.
Oh, that's it. Garrett Gilbert. Nice.
Shout out to Alan Williams. Thank you very much for this.
Yeah, I'm not thinking about. I'm just. What's up? What's up, Angelo Brooks? Stop sweating.
Stop sweating. You know why we're upset?
Stop sweating the small shit.
No. Here's the reason why we're upset. Because we actually care about the team. We want to see them win. And when it's kind of like,
give me some.
I don't know if anybody's had like somebody close to them that has an addiction. And they, until they hit rock bottom, they won't change.
Eagle
And you
fans
can
are
see
loving
them,
this
and
one.
you can look at this and say, you're screwing up. I want to help you, but it doesn't matter because they don't listen. That's the Cowboys. We're in love with a crackhead. We are in love with a crackhead. That's our relationship with the Cowboys. They'll straighten up for a while and everything else. You think they've turned the corner. They've finally gotten away from it. And then, boom, they go back out on that bench and just do stupid shit.
According to Vegas, and Otani's bookie, which I think is funny. The Cowboys are the favorite to win the NFC East.
Content M, it's not that I only care about, because you know what? Let me say this, Content M. Caring about Dak
up,
Prescott would
Serotonin?
be, Dak, I want you to go to a loaded team and win a Super Bowl. That would be caring only about Dak Prescott. I would be saying, yes, Dak Prescott's going to get an opportunity to get out of this cesspool and actually go to a team where fans actually care about him, and a team would be ecstatic after going through quarterback hell forever can say, yes, we finally have a quarterback and we now have a chance to win a Super Bowl. As opposed to being here and looking and knowing, staring into the abyss and knowing what we will be without Dak Prescott and a quarterback. That either you're going to have to take all your draft capital or your great players and try and move up to draft a quarterback and hope that he doesn't turn into Josh Rosen. Hope that he doesn't become Zach Wilson. Hope that he doesn't become Mac Jones. Hope that he's not Trevor Lawrence.
What's up,
And pray
Andrew?
that maybe he's as good as Dak Prescott. You don't take, a bird in the hand beats two in the bush. Okay?
I like that.
You've got a
two in the
bird.
bush.
Listen, you got a quarterback that you can win. So what do other teams do when they have a quarterback that's good, that's throwing many more touchdown passes than interceptions? They surround him with more talent. They go out. They get him more running backs. They make sure he's got a good offensive line to protect their investment. They get him more weapons to be able to get the ball to. What do the Cowboys do? Let's do more with less. Let's do more with less.
Fans do
What
care
the hell
about
is
him,
that?
what are saying.
What the hell is that? Let's do more with less.
Yeah. This is why, again, let's just play Trey Lance. You play to win the game. Or at least I thought. Just play Trey Lance.
That would truly be tanking.
But, I mean, if you're not going to go with them long term, then what are we doing? What are we doing here? If I'm Dak Prescott, I take the opposite tack. Say, no.
Here, actually,
Get me the F out of here.
Here's where you can
What
tell.
do I need to
hold
do?
on.
I'd come out and vocalize. Say, what, do you have a problem?
Here's
something
where
about me since I come
you
into the
understand the value of Trey Lance is his bonus was paid, which is more money than they spent in free agency.
What's up, Mouse?
You realize that, right? They spent more money on his bonus to make sure that he's on the roster than they've spent on free agency.
What was it?
$5 million.
Yeah. Well, they spent 11 in free agency, I thought.
Well, okay. In free agency, they spent 2.5 on Shador Smith.
Eric Kendricks.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, Eric.
Ron,
I'm sorry,
how
Eric
are
Kendrick.
you?
Yeah.
All over circles around the playoff game against Green Bay. You know what I keep hearing, Thomas and Mark?
What's
This
that?
is what I keep hearing. This has got Jimmy Johnson all over it. This whole
I
thing is
thought
pissing
that.
me off. But it's pissing me off because now everything is going to be Jimmy Johnson. Well, it's just Jimmy Johnson. He's an advisor.
I mean, it
It's
could be that Jimmy Johnson says you need to blow it up and start all over. I mean, that is possible.
But I mean, there's no way of proving it unless somebody comes out and says, yes, it's Jimmy Johnson. So it's like, even here you go, Ultra Cowboy. Even Jimmy Johnson wants Dak gone. Best thing that happened to the Cowboys was having Jimmy Johnson on the advisory board. Half of me thinks, Ultra, that it's all a ruse.
Wait a minute.
It's all a joke. But I don't know. That's the thing.
Well, it won't surprise me if when we least expect it, all of a sudden, like 3 weeks from now, there's a contract done. Because the Cowboys have to create drama and make everybody pissed off at you before we pay you. Zeke who? Oh, Zeke got to understand, man, that we can't reset the running back market and everything, right? D-Law, well, we thought we had a deal and stuff done, with D-Law, and, he seems to be wanting more money than what we talked about, Des Bryant, well, he's a gangster and all. They literally rake you through the coals. Now, what's different this time is Stephen Jones last time basically said, well, Dak's got to understand. He's got to leave, more money on the table for other guys and stuff. This year they're saying, we love Dak Prescott, and he's our quarterback and everything else. They're doing that in the face of the public, so they look like they're the nice guys. We want to get Dak Prescott. Listen, we want to sign guys and stuff, but, we got to get Dak Prescott because, you can't win without Dak. They are smiling in your face.
AJ Mandel,
and all the time they want to take your place for backstabbing. Okay.
AJ Mandel, look at you going nuts over there on Mark's
So if Lance
chat.
starts and our shit is stopping the run and we have no running game, then the issue is still quarterback? Yeah. Yep. AJ,
Everybody be
shout out
nice
to
in
AJ.
my chat. Come on.
What? If they're being, let's see. I see some of your trolls. Trexel is one of my former trolls over here. He doesn't bother anymore. Surgery coming up. I'm still trying to watch my live shows. Got notifications, my brother. Shout out to Felix, man. Good luck on the surgery.
Pinch Mark because he's dreaming about the Cowboys re-signing Dak. Dak is gone.
You know what? If I had $1 for every time I heard that Dak was gone, that Dak was going to be out flipping burgers and everything else, then I wouldn't need to do this live stream because I'd be
Hey,
Fat
Hamid,
City.
worry about your own squad.
I
Last
hear
night needed
Menzel is
advice from
available.
the Eagle fan. That Packers had zero fear in the Big D pause. They wanted Prescott to beat them. No, we couldn't stop him, Hamid. Prescott threw for over 400 yards after he, it wasn't like he's. But I mean, I get it, guys. I get it. I'm not here to preach for Dak. I'm just saying if we're moving on, then start Trey Lance. Have a set of balls. Excuse my language, but have a set and let's go. And let's go with Trey Lance. You got the Cooper Rush. Release Dak. Let Dak go. Or whatever. Or bench Dak. Whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're not bringing it back, you're wasting my time.
Yeah.
Because it's a waste of time because we need to get a high draft pick. Because as much as people like Trey Lance, I doubt he's the guy. He may be a good quarterback in the league, but if we're moving on from Dak, like I said to Mark early in just a couple months ago, I said, if we're going to move on, now I understand we don't know about these guys, but if we're moving on, then I want a crack at the top 2 quarterbacks in this year's draft. If we're moving on next year, I want a crack at the top 2 young quarterbacks in the draft. David Wiley, what up, man? Fired up tonight. You ready for the trip or what? You ready for the draft?
That's all we got, man.
Yeah, it's pretty effed up, but we can't ever have any fun where we're rolling in with some confidence. There's never any confidence. We got a dysfunctional front office.
Okay. All right. Best case scenario. The Cowboys get lightning in a bottle and Trey Lance is really good. That's the best case scenario.
Best case is
okay.
we win the Super
In
Bowl
which
this year
case,
under
hold it.
Dak.
In which case, you're still in the same position because you still need other players around them. We still have to learn how to stop the run. We still got to run the football better, right? Right?
Yeah.
Worst case scenario, we could be the 2017 Commanders. The 2017 Commanders, okay? Actually, let me go through here first. The 2016 Commanders with Kirk Cousins. Cousins broke all the franchise record for passing yards in a season with 4,917. Okay? And then 2017 was his last season with them. And they decided, you know what? We can't win with this guy. We can't win with Kirk Cousins. They had franchise tagged him twice. They let him walk, got nothing for him. But they went through and they said, hey, we got Alex Smith. We signed a former number one pick, the number one pick in the draft. He's a guy who's been in the playoffs. He's worked under Andy Reid.
Yeah.
We're in better shape with Alex Smith. And Alex Smith played 10 games that year and got his leg mangled.
Yep. Yeah.
Then they had Josh Johnson playing and Colt McCoy and even Butt Fumble. The next year, they had Case Keenum. They drafted in the first round Dwayne
But we're good with
Haskins.
quarterbacks, right?
Huh?
We get lucky with quarterbacks.
Well, I'm just saying. Then they had Colt McCoy. Then Alex Smith came back. They had Dwayne Haskins. They had Kyle Allen. Then they had Heine. They had Highbrows. Ryan Fitzpatrick, Garrett Gilbert, Carson Wentz, and then Sam Howell.
And then Dak Prescott.
You know what that's very similar to? The Cowboys after Troy Aikman,
Yeah.
where we had veterans of, Ryan Leaf come through and Randall Cunningham, Vinny Testaverde through there.
Bledsoe.
We drafted guys like Quincy Carter.
Drew Bledsoe,
We brought him in. We had Anthony Wright. We had Clint Stoner. There's more. There are more guys than I can even remember. We were musical chairs of quarterbacks. And then somehow we had an undrafted rookie free agent that we signed that got to sit on the bench for a few years and became our franchise quarterback. And when that guy got injured, here's where it's kind of
I'll
crazy.
get to your super chat in a minute, Al.
Here's where it's crazy in the parallel. Tony Romo took us the catch, no catch away from going deep in the playoffs, right? He gets injured the next year. The team goes 4-12.
Mm-hmm.
Dak Prescott comes in, takes over that team. That team goes back to 12-4. And that's when you had veteran quarterbacks like Matt Castle, who had been a Pro Bowler, that were playing. You had, that Brandon Wheaton, he throws the prettiest play, and they won one game. David Wiley. What's up, Mark, in Game Time? Shout out to David Wiley. We got less than a month. So
if Dak take this team to the NFC Championship, I hope he still walks away from this ownership. I hear you, Al. Thanks for the super chat, buddy. I hear you. I absolutely hear you.
Yeah.
I got to get back to my chat.
Get back to the chat there. Let's see. Walker Wade. Or best case scenario, we draft the next Brady. Last I checked, there was only one Brady that was drafted. One Brady, one Mahomes.
But, do you guys see where I'm coming from, though? If Dak's not part of the long term, then why are we going into 1 year with him? To help out Dak get a contract? It should be about the Cowboys. Ramona and Carolina Jones. If your roster isn't good enough to win a Super Bowl, play Lance and move Dak. Let him pick where he wants to go. Get those picks. Exactly. That's all I'm asking. Why can't our crack reporters talk to them? They're all ass kissers. You saw the interview with Stephen Jones. Does anybody have a set of stones and say, hey, Stephen, you're running this organization into the ground. Why not just get rid of Dak Prescott since you're not going to win a Super Bowl this year? Why are we playing this game? You want Shador Sanders? You need to be a top 5
pick.
Like, you need to be up near the top.
Yeah. 2 ones. Shout out to AJ who's taking shots. These casual walk-ups saying, man, I hate Dak. Corey Pearson says, come on, Mark. Cooper Rush went 5-1 without Dak.
True.
That's true. But Cooper Rush had a chance to sign with any team, and guess what?
$3 million he came back for.
Nobody signed him. Nobody looked at him and said, that's my franchise quarterback. That's my long-term answer.
The Trexler, the reporters are too scared. Yeah, because it's a known fact that Jerry has made young reporters vanish, not killed, but lose their jobs. That's just the way they operate. I could never be there because I would ask one question and be escorted out. I'd be like, okay, you're coming back and you expect the fans to buy tickets and buy merchandise. You won 3 straight 12-win years, and now you have a lot less talent on the team. It's a rebuilding year. Can we please get some rebates on parking and
Xavier says,
prices?
Sherrod,
Excuse my
Burrow,
language.
Love, and Lawrence are all franchise quarterbacks. I'm not sure Trevor Lawrence is a franchise quarterback. You believe in that one?
He hasn't done it, people. So you say Trevor Lawrence he's looked not great. He has great traits. So does Herbert.
Wait. If
Herbert
we're
hasn't
talking
done
about
shit.
Dak Prescott choking, they had the opportunity during the season to be the number 1 seed, and they didn't make the playoffs.
What's Mouse saying?
Okay, and
Brad Copa.
Jordan Love, we got 1 year. We got 1 year as a measuring stick. 1 year. You got to give it more than 1 year, bro. I hate to tell you that. You got to give it more than 1 year.
Patrick sucks.
They were scared to let Rush throw the ball, stop it, which is true, Daniel. Pittsburgh already has Fields, and he will play for cheap. West Coast Cowboy in this.
Mouse, I'm not.
Oh,
here to
West
argue
Coast.
whether
What's
he's-
up, West Coast? West Coast, how are you feeling tonight, man? Shout out to West Coast, man. He's killing it out there, man.
What's up, West Coast Cowboy? What's up, my man?
We're up here trying to figure. We got fans in here that say that Cooper Rush. We went 5-1. We can play him. Trey Lance is a better option. Just let Dak walk and we good. We good.
Well,
or
all right,
we can just
we got him
draft
in the house.
Deion.
This is what I'm saying here. Well, West Coast. This is what I'm saying. I'm saying if we're not going to extend Dak Prescott, okay, why are we keeping him? Let's play Trey Lance and actually see what we got before we're have no other options, because we keep hearing the Shador Sanders, and that's fine. That's well and good. I would love to have Shador Sanders. You need to be at the top of the draft to do so. You can't be where we're going to be. I got news for you. If Dak Prescott plays this year, we're going to win 9 or 10 games. I don't care what the schedule says. Based on our offense and our weapons, we're going to win 9 or 10 games, which means we're going to be in that 22 to 26, 27 drafting, and we're not going to be nowhere near Shador Sanders.
No.
So why play him at all?
You need
Why?
if you're tanking, go ahead and tank. See, this is the Cowboys' problem. They can't do anything right. If you're gonna tank.
Do it.
Okay. If you're gonna sign a guy to a contract, don't wait till it costs you more money. Sign the damn thing.
But
okay,
this is what I
and
want
don't
the
wait till the
reporters to
last
say.
minute and fuck it
They
up.
Don't do it. Pisses me off. Just tank. I like when we get a high draft pick. That's how you get better in this league, especially a team like us, who I'll give the Cowboys credit. We do draft well for the most part. So it's like, what
didn't
are we
last
doing
year.
here? Well, yeah, but again, now, and I got accused for making excuses. Listen, Mozzie Smith played with an injured shoulder all year. Now, it makes a lot of sense when you look back at it, but, whatever. Overshown, out for the year.
I'm loving the hate out here.
All three
Kirk
of our
Cousins is
picks
better
are
than
first
Dak
three
Prescott. Shady said Trey is a G League quarterback. What do y'all think you get? You know what? Actually, I'm just curious. If the Cowboys say we're going to move on from Dak and Trey is our guy, and we find out Trey can't play,
Dak Swan song. What's up, Corey?
and then we end up going through, and let's say we do draft a quarterback the first round, we find out he's a bust, and all of a sudden we're a 5-12 team for a couple of years. How's everybody going to feel then?
Elena.
We all feel better because at least it's not Dak here.
Elena says, Mark says you don't have weapons, but I say, well, listen, you got CD. He's going to win 9 or 10 games. He's not loaded like the Eagles, where you got AJ and Devontae and
Dallas Goedert,
Saquon and Dallas Goddard and a better offensive line. I mean, that's what I was talking about, Atlanta.
In comparison, I mean, seriously, how can you compare
And
the
we still
weapons
beat you.
that the Eagles have versus the Cowboys? I mean, seriously, people are people really looking at? Now, that's not to say that Jake Ferguson might not become that dude. And that CD, if he doesn't check out at big games, doesn't become great too. And maybe Brandon Cooks in the second year is better, but right now we ain't got a running back, and we got 2 major holes in the offensive line that we don't know what the answer is. JD Sports, Mark, to your point earlier, I bet the fans will appreciate Kurt after seeing Drake London and Kyle Pitts go waste with Ryder. There you go. I bet the Falcons fans will appreciate Kirk after seeing Drake London and Kyle Pitts go to waste. Yeah. You're right about that, JD Sports. Shout out to JD
Be nice,
Sports.
Brad and Ultra. Come on now, let's move on here.
Oh, boy.
Let's stick to our fucked up Dallas team. Excuse my language. I'm just not happy. I don't like what, we're going to be a good team. So that's not going to get us where we need to go. That's
Dak's ceiling has been reached. But you know what's funny about Dak's ceiling? There's some quarterbacks that never throw 36 TD passes in a season and 9 interceptions.
Matt Batten.
There's some quarterbacks out there that never throw 200 career TD passes or 30,000 yards. There are quarterbacks out there that have never been the rookie of the, rookie offensive player of the year. If you're saying that's the ceiling, there's some guys that won't even get to that ceiling.
You put your chat on slow? It's too late now, but
I don't know. It's flying through here,
and I can't keep up with it.
All parties want to succeed.
Yeah, I need
Dak
tequila.
oh my God, that would kill me.
What, tequila?
If Dak went to the Commanders. Oh,
Hail
Lord.
to the Commanders.
Oh my God.
Hail victory. Hey.
Could you imagine if Dak went into the division and he owned us the way that he owns the rest of the NFL?
Thank you.
Could you imagine that? If Dak went to the Giants and they beat us every time?
Yeah,
You know how much that would hurt seeing him twice a year?
The Giants never beat us, so I'm sorry.
No, that's what I'm saying. What if he went to the Giants and they started kicking our teeth in like Dak has been kicking theirs in?
You're right. The Cowboys O-line in shambles. I can't argue with you, Fly Parks. Argue with you.
It would be the trash bandwagon fans that drove Dak out.
Eagles fans saying, we want rings. Y'all want stats.
Do we have any real Cowboy fans on here? Dak Prescott, ? Let's go, Cowboys.
What's up, Carlos?
For life.
It just isn't the same without Dak personality. Personally. I hear you, man.
And there is some quarterbacks with worse stats with a Super Bowl victory, and that's what I care about.
What's up, Eric?
Yeah, you can go through Walker Wade and say, yeah, if you got the Baltimore Ravens defense, you can do that. You can have quarterbacks that have lesser stats when you've got a great team around them. Do you honestly look and say, Walker, you know my boy, do you honestly look and say that we are a great team? Because, I saw the 85 Bears, with McMahon, a team that's never had a 4,000-yard passer, win the Super Bowl, but their defense was hellacious. I'm just saying. It wasn't that a lesser quarterback won the Super Bowl on their own. And herein lies the problem. The Joneses don't believe in adding any new talent.
Jerry Jones is the problem.
JD Sports is hitting it.
We need to jack his ass up.
Mark, if Dak and Parsons called you and asked you what's one of the areas of the game that you want to see improve, what would you say? Can even be mentality too? I would like the mental fortitude, but actually areas I'd like to. What?
No, go ahead. I'm sorry. No, Thomas Garrett says if Dak goes to the Giants, Cobb Pizzle will act like a damn fool.
Oh my God.
Oh my God.
Could you see that?
I actually wouldn't mind just to see it and then just get rid of it. But yeah,
no, man.
Game time. Can we please move on from Dak talk? We said the same exact shit last year. Chuck, he's gone after this year. All I'm saying is this: we are going to we should just get rid of him now, Chuck. Let Trey Lance play. You're obviously not acquiring anybody. You don't have enough draft picks to really make a big difference this year. So just tank. You have all the cap space next year. You're going to have all those draft picks. Just tank and get a top 5 pick.
There you go.
And
okay. So
let's go. We'll have Trey Lance to groom a young Shador Sanders. Whoever.
I'm kind of with you there. JD Sports, areas I'd like to see us improve in, you need a running game and you need to stop the run. That's every playoff team that you saw deep could run the football and stop the run. And that's something that we've had a problem with the last few years. And Walker Wade said, Mark, if Tom Brady is on the 2011 Dallas Cowboys, we're going to Super Bowl. Yeah, but you honestly think the Joneses were going to go ahead and do that one? They won't sign Tyron Smith back to $6 million. Let's be real here. We're talking about the Cowboys that are risk adverse. So, we can't go. Here's the problem, Walker. We can't go back. Tom Brady is done. He's out of the NFL. He's no longer part of the equation. We can't deal with anything but this moment forward. Can't change the past. Can't change the past. You can, unless somebody invents a time machine, in which case then I guess you could. But then are we all here if somebody goes back in time? They might screw it all up and we all disappear,
Lose our 5 Super Bowl rings.
There you go. So
hey, game time. Trent
we can only deal with
QB
what do we do now?
Ravens uniform because he won one, and Lamar can't. Yeah, it's all about winning, though, Coyote. Unfortunately, that's how it works in this world.
Okay. Final thoughts before we get out of here because we've been on here crying for over an hour.
Have we?
Yeah, we have. It's 9:00 now, and I'm getting a headache from all this.
Final thought is, again, I'm frustrated about I don't care if we move on from Dak. I want everybody to be aware. If that's what is best for our organization, if that's what they believe, then come out and tell us fans. Don't, what's the term? Don't piss on me and tell me it's raining, type of deal. Just move on or bench him. If you have no plans on bringing him back after this year, you could have extended him last year. You could have extended him 2 years ago, and it wouldn't have been nowhere near this. If that's the case,
here's
then
my final question for you. In the last couple of years, what have the Cowboys done move-wise that says or that has actually been about winning?
I'm dead to Mark. No, I'm not.
No, you're not dead to me. I'm sorry. I want you to answer this. Tell me in the last couple of years what the Cowboys have actually done to get us closer to a Super Bowl. Any of the moves anything that they've done this year to get us closer to winning.
Last year they went out and traded for Brandon Cooks and Stephon Gilmore.
2 5th-round picks.
I know. I'm not. You asked me what they did. In my opinion, in their mind, that was going all in. So,
and if that's all in, then we're never going to win. Then here's what we have to be resolved to. It doesn't matter who's going to be the quarterback for the Cowboys because they're never going to do enough to win the Super Bowl.
Even under Romo, they always had a flaw, right? Whether it was the defense. You remember that unbelievable game where he went back and forth with Peyton Manning, put up a 50-burger and still lost? Huh?
Yeah, I was in Hawaii watching that one.
Yeah. Well, that was a beautiful display of offensive football, but our defense was ass. Okay? And then what? We got our defense, and then Romo was running for his life. There was always something. So it's not just Dak. This front office, since Jimmy has been gone, hasn't done anything in the salary cap era. Let's not forget, they haven't won anything in the salary cap era. So the problem lies with the Muppets running the show. And the Muppets don't want Dak to be their quarterback because they don't want to pay him $60+ million a year. I'm not here to argue that. Just move on then. Stop. Pull the Band-Aid off and let's go. I'm ready for it. But going into the season not knowing is the worst. Pull the Band-Aid. Let's move on. Bench him. If you can't trade him, bench him. That's what I would do, Mark. I know that's drastic, but not really, because you want to get a high draft pick, do you not?
Yeah.
If not, then this is all moot. What do we give a shit what Dak Prescott makes? What Dak Prescott does is put up wins. He wins 10, 11, 12 games on the regular. Yeah, he may shit the bed in the playoffs, but we're in the playoffs.
Well, the bed has been shit by everybody. It's just one big pile of shit.
I know. And Coyote says, game time, that's the game that Jerry plays. We're all done with it. Let's move on. Move on.
There you go. Well,
Got
let me
fired
say
up
I
now.
appreciate all of the good fans that have been in here talking with us. All of you haters,
Linda.
well, you can kiss my ass. How about that? Okay? Kiss it. And let me say, Mailman, I'm proud of you. Keep up the good
Oh, yeah,
work.
I'm at
If
almost
you're watching,
4,400.
let's get my man to 5. Just remember I told you we got to get you over 5 before the draft?
Yeah.
I think it's 10.
Don't start your shit. You're a dick.
I keep.
Well, hey, listen.
You see what I'm doing? At the end of the day, is what it is.
Ain't
Dallas
never
Cowboys for
gonna
life.
get
Shout out
there.
to AJ. I keep moving the goalpost on you. You notice
Yeah,
that,
you
right?
do. You
Now
do.
you know what it's like to be Dak Prescott. Fuck
Tomorrow
you,
night,
man.
8 o'clock. Tomorrow night, 8 o'clock, me and Prime Time. We break it all down. Hump Day Live, Prime Time. Make sure everybody's there tomorrow night, please. 8 o'clock. And we'll
Cry some more.
deal with it together, man. But let's just move on. Let's move on.
There you go.
So anyway,
Peace out, good people.
late.
I don't know what to say, really. 3 minutes to the biggest battle of our professional lives. All comes down to today. Either we heal as a team, or we're going to crumble. Inch by inch,